Which video? YouTube order. Okay. I have paused it and then seeing here it will be on. Okay, fine. Yes, Raghuramji. Okay.
Connected?
You can start. Yeah.
Okay. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Before I proceed, continuing with the discussion about the Mandukya Upanishad, the shloka itself, I thought I will give a little background of what is the thought process universally at that point of time, and even in India at that point of time, in Sanatana Dharma at that point of time. I would like to give you a glimpse of that, the way that I perceive it, because of which that this Upanishad becomes a very, very important part of the discussions of the spiritual journey that we make. One thing is that imagine those days about several thousands of years ago or 10,000 years back, that whatever experience that we have in the world day-to-day life, apart from that, we have certain happenings in this world because of which did not have any explanation. Why it happens like that? Suddenly floods will come, suddenly the rain will come, suddenly something comes. And we look for some external force to see that we probably they are causing these things. So we have a faith in that external force and then say that you please spare us. Therefore, that we always used to have this idea of a God being there, so that God will give us a grace, God will also punish us. These are the things that was there. A God who gives us a punishment can also give us grace. So, but then there are other cultures where God was there only, say, waiting for punishment. But he's not waiting for punishment, he also gives us so much of grace, and because of which only things are happening. And very simple idea is that I am born because that somebody, God, gave birth to me, wanted me to be like this, so therefore he gave it. And parents are supposed to be a pathway, but otherwise that God is the one who ordains us to give. So this is what is the concept that we had. There is one God sitting there. Be devoted to him, trust him, and then have faith in him, and be humble to him. These are the ideas that were there in the culture, not only in our culture, in the Western culture also. Everywhere it was like that. It's the God who punishes, God who does these things. So therefore, that God concept was there. God was separate and human being was separate. That's why it is called as Dvaita Prapancha. Prapancha means that you cannot question the God like the way that you question human being. Like human being is born for parents and all that. Who are the parents for the God? Who is he born? Human being has a particular face and structure and this and that. Does God have anything like that? Is there anything like that? Reality. God is like this, God is not like that. Is there anything like that? But people out of their ignorance, they say God is only this way, not that way. They have created all that, but it is based on only their faith and nothing reality about it. Like, for example, I took somebody to a Ganesha temple where until that time I never realized that in Ganesha, the trunk will be on the right side or left side. And in that particular temple, that lady went there and came out said that this is not true Ganesha. Why? Because the trunk is on the left side. Array, how think of imagine of elephant. Put the trunk on the left side also and the right side also. So, but then people become rigid about that. So There is a rigidity about God, rigidity about human being. It is a common thing that will happen. And the God has grace, God is kind to somebody, not kind to somebody. All these things were there, but basically that this Dvaita aspect has come. So then the inquiry was going on that what is the origin of human being? Where is this human being coming? And there also, or the creation is coming when you look at it. Then they had various um, origins from which creation has come. Like, for example, energy is separate, matter is separate. Matter comes from the material world, and then energy comes from energy world. So they went on Western world trying to look into finding the origin where the matter comes. Slowly, what happens when they started making this matter smaller and smaller particle, it went into molecule, molecule went into atom, and atom they went into subatomic level, and subatomic level that they went, that means into a subtler than the matter. Then matter vanished. It all became energy. That is nothing but electron, proton, neutron. What is that? They are positive energy, negative energy. So that this it became like an energy. That's where basically they found out that matter and energy are not two separate things. Once that energy mixed with that, then they found out that all various types of energy that we have, it's all one and the same thing, only manifesting through various means. So this is how slowly it is becoming one. Matter and energy became one. But then matter and energy were again different from the time, etc., that is there in the modern science. Slowly, the science developed further and saying that they are also the same, the time is also the same. And then there is time and timelessness. And that's what is the idea of wave and particle theory. Then what happened is that the idea is that these things are controlled by another phenomena in between, which is beyond not phenomena, that means the material world. Therefore, we call it as epiphenomena. That means something beyond that. And that's what they have done this experiment of, the spin of an electron that is there, and they separated it from at a distance, and then they change the spin of one part of it, other part changes. So that means to say there is something which is connecting these two, and that is supposed to be consciousness. And that consciousness governs everything. This is what the modern science is now coming to an idea. And in fact, that also explains the idea. A magnet that you take, cut his magnet into two pieces, then North Pole and South Pole will separate them. The moment you cut it, again North Pole, South Pole sets up on the each magnet piece. So it means basically that you can never separate North and South Pole. They are connected by something which is an unseen connection. They call it as consciousness. So this is what is the way that the whole idea of consciousness has come to be. Now, this is all experimentally done. This is all in the world outside. But from consciousness, how the matter is created, they're still struggling to find out how it happens. And in the matter also that how many different varieties are there. Look at the human being, the specialty that is there, the special features that are there. And some people are intelligent, some less intelligent. Some people are artistic, some not artistic. So all these things, variety, how does it happen? All these questions are there in front of the science. But science is slowly coming to an idea that there is one from which everything has come. Now, this is what science has said. But Indian philosophy, without going into all these details or everything like that, there are statements which sages said that Aham Brahmasmi, I am that Brahman. Or Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma, everything is nothing but Brahma. Or the idea saying that Ishavasya Sarvam. How do we take? Why did they come to this kind of an idea? It seemed to be that they have gone through that experience. It's in their experience that they came to know, oh, nothing but there's one particular entity. That's what is supposed to be Brahman. And that Brahman, then they said that it is this central core. And then the same way that I must have that part of that Brahman central core, which is supposed to be Jiva. That is Paramatma is Brahman, the central core, and the Jivatma is supposed to be an individual. This is how basically and Jivatma comes from that Paramatma only. This seemed to be the way that our people started feeling and then expressing about this. then what happens is it is their expression that there is no two, there's only one. It's very important to understand this or to feel that very important, very naturally, because basically that there is a very strict idea that bad is separate, good is separate, and good bad can never become good. So this is the kind of concept that was there. Then only Indian philosophy said bad and big good, they are not two separate things. They are the two sides of the same coin. So like that, good and bad, they both exist in one individual only. This is what Krishna said in Bhagavad Gita. Daivi sampati is there, Asuri sampati is also there. And so both these things are coexisting. And now slowly that they started feeling that the bad with good cannot exist without bad. Day cannot exist without night. And your letters of white letters on the board cannot exist without the black board. So that means in the creation we should have both these things. But the only thing is that it's your choice to join whether it is good or bad. So choice is given to you. Good is that which sustains, bad is that which eliminates. That's a very simple idea Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita. So this is how basically the idea of there's only one single force from which everything is coming. It's based, but in a very important aspect is it's not just only theoretical idea, like the way modern science looked at in a theoretical way that there is something, everything is coming from the same source called as the consciousness. Our idea is that it's experiential, that you experience that way. Great people are great, they had that experience and they express that. In our culture, that somebody who has that kind of an experience, we actually regarded them, we respected them, we said that this is not common experience of us. But whereas somebody has that as a common experience, we really regarded him, we respected him, we made him as a saint. That's why when Ishavasyamidam Sarvam, when Rishi said that we held him at a high regard. Whereas the same thing is said by a Muslim saint, Anal Haq Ayandi, and Al Hilal Manzoor. He said that his hands were cut off, legs were cut off, because that is it. It's blasphemous. God is separate, you are separate. You can never say that I am God. Whereas we have very clear idea about that I am God. That is, in fact, these are supposed to be Mahavakyas, extraordinary, wonderful statements. And that's why I am Atma Brahma. That means the Atman here, this Atman, he is Brahman. So I am Atma Chatushpad. That is what this Upanishad takes it up. So that means to say essentially that the reality is that there's only one single source, but it is not intellectual, but it is to be experiential. Intellect can only argue and all that. Intellect is not this good substitute for experience. Experience is something extra. However, amount of intellect that you use it cannot satisfy the experience that we have. Everything is the same. Everything is one Brahman that is there. I am Brahman, you are also Brahman. This is also another thing. When I say that I am Brahman, it does not mean that I am Brahman, but you are not Brahman. No, the I in everybody is Brahman. Therefore, that I don't have any dispute with you. You are fine. You have not realized, but you are going to realize that one day or the other you also feel it. Then that is good. So therefore, basically, that we didn't have any dispute with the idea that it is they are separate, Brahman is separate, I am separate, or the God is separate, I am separate, or the idea that I am the God. These two things, that means to say, Dvaita and Advaita are the experiences people have it and use it to see that how we can grow, how we can become one with the divinity or the divine qualities that you can manifest. That was the purpose of having these things. The theory is not it is not to put down somebody, it is not to defeat somebody. That was never an interest of this particular culture. So, Dvaita, Advaita, Visishtadvaita, they are not interested in the argument or logic to prove their point. Who to prove their point? Actually, that's my experience. It's an experience. We never looked at proof. A child is born to the mother. Mother is mother. The child, when he's born, the mother should not keep the ready, the DNA test that your DNA, my DNA is the same. Array, it's a common thing. It's a simple thing. It's one of faith, emotion that is there. So therefore, bhavana is something which is very important. I see everything is one. So Advaita Sthiti is the second not being there is something which is experiential. It's not that I have to prove somebody else, somewhere else. But then basically that they have given some analogies for that particular thing, how that Advaita Sthiti has come on. Something like, for example, the same other Upanishads use that everything comes from the same background at the same consciousness. It's like the way when the rain falls, trees come from the earth, and then earth is the same earth, and then you see different variety of plants, variety of these things that are there, like that the same way that the all this creation emerges from the same consciousness that is there. They try to give those days examples like saying that ornaments may be different, but the gold is the same. So gold, you are identify with the ornament, then you are separated. But identify with the gold, you are one and the same thing. So it is just to give an analogy that they have given this kind of thing, but not really proving something. But then you get caught up in that ornament rather than the gold aspect of it. So therefore, that whatever that is outside that you see the form, you get caught up with that. Outside form is what your mind catches. Mind created that. That's why they have another example. It's all example that they give. Like the way that there is actually snake, that is rope is there, but then you look at only snake. So that way a standard example of Vedanta is that snake and rope. Without snake, and somebody was saying that without snake and rope, you can't give a Vedanta talk. Similarly, without mud and pot, you can't give a talk. And this was the days earlier we really required. But unfortunately, today, people don't see the snake, don't see the rope also. If I say the child, first of all, I have to tell him what is that rope, what is that snake. Then I have to give that example, take a mistaken. And he will, even then, he will not be convinced that why could I mistake anything like that? Those days, the normal course of time in the day-to-day life that we used to come across, the rope that is there, and then you need to cross the rope, whether it is the rope used for pulling the water from the mm, well, or maybe the rope that is tied for drying the clothes line and all that. Rope is everywhere used, so therefore don't mistake it to be snake. This is a simple idea. Analogy given that. But unfortunately, we hold on to those things. So when I thought that, when I think that, we should think of Vedanta, we should update ourselves not with those examples, but to see that from the modern life point of view. Modern life is so changed that probably in villages it's still somewhat you can see some of these things, but in cities, absolutely not available. Like for example, my son was doing something with the cow dung, and then he got cow dung, and then doing something like that. Little daughter was standing there, about 2-year-old daughter, watching the whole thing. I said cow dung. So what is that? Poo of the cow. Then I just casually I asked her, so what is that cow eats so that cow poop is so important? Then she thought for a while and then she said, cow eats plastic. My God, I was really shocked because today she will not see a cow, actually people feeding the grass for that cow. See, in 2 generations, it's already gone. In our generation, we used to have cow and we used to get fodder for that and then feed that and make nice, wonderful fodder out of it and then give it. Whereas today, she sees only the street cow, which is there coming in the middle of the traffic. That's what she sees. So essentially, what happens is that the example that I should give is something which can be current, and it is not to defeat somebody else. Why I'm saying this is that this is the kind of way that Mandukya Upanishad puts it very beautifully, saying that your own experience that is there, and this experience, all that experience we have, from this I have to just pull out what is this I, who is experiencing this, and this is the basic question that I need to find out who am I, so that I do not get disillusioned. So that is the idea. The purpose is not to prove somebody, disprove somebody. It's not logically put the whole thing. Logic was not interest. In fact, that's what even the this, Brahma Sutra says, Vadav Navalam Veha. You cannot get by Vada. Uh, Nahi jnana sadrisham. I mean, in Bhakti Yoga also, Narada says that not the question of argument, logic. It's only the question is Anubhava. Experience is something which is very important. He gives the idea also. The idea that he gives is that um, you eat the sweet, and then the taste of sweet you can never explain about it. So, mukha swadana. That means to say, if you give a sweet to the dumb, what can he explain? So it is that way, the explanation is far removed from the experience that you have. But if an explanation is trying to push you towards experience, then that's the right kind of it. So now any explanation that I give about all these states also should push me towards that experiencing of that one Brahman that is there behind it, which you are that Brahman. When say that you are that Brahman, that means to say whatever the Brahman that you basis for the creation, you should be able to see that Brahman within your own experiences from this, that when you filter it, then you come to the idea of what you are. So therefore, that is the way that it has to be approached. Lot of people, when discussing about such Mandukya Upanishad, they went to a lot of arguments saying that Dvaita is right, Advaita is right, Advaita is right. I read all these books and then I found that it's more of intellectual jugglery than anything which is really taking you towards spiritual knowledge, spiritual growth, spiritual idea. So from that point of view, these experience, and it's from our own experience, we need to come out. And another thing is, don't put anything Brahman or God or something like that beyond our explanation, experience, and all that. And we don't mystify that. We don't have to mystify that. We can find out our own experience of that particular thing. That is the reason why this Upanishad knowledge will help us. Like why it is said that our own experiences are like this, that simple gross level experience, whatever that you perceive, you see, Vaishvararaha. That means to say it is a wakeful state, gross experience, everybody has it. And it can be interchangeable. Like, for example, my experience I can tell to somebody, somebody's experience I can take it, and we can work with that. This one is what we called as gross world, gross experience, and that is what he says it as the Sthula Bhuku. But then again, when the Bhuku that it has given, one small benefit that we get is that it is your choice to see that what is nourishing for you, what is not nourishing, you don't take it. You don't even reject it also, because in Yoga Vasishtha gives very nicely, Vasishtha, Grahona Tatra Notsargaha, that means to say, neither attaching it or not rejecting, both these things are not there. You are peaceful inside. So that means to say, what is not good for you, then don't reject it, don't hate it, leave it alone. Don't have a hatred towards it because that an object that you hold by liking, the object you still hold it by disliking it. So it is beyond the likes and dislikes that you are just be with that object. That's the only thing. And I see often people, children like, see, anyway, you are going out, have one banana, they left on the table, and child says, I hate banana. That banana did nothing to you, sitting on the table, very peaceful fruit. And then you hate the banana, that means you are already negative with that. How many times I don't like it? Arey, it's all right, you don't like it, but it does not mean that something negative about it. You might like it, somebody else might like it. But the way that people express it, that not only that you don't like it, but somebody who likes it is somebody who is Gaya Bita. That means he's lost. He's not good enough. I see that in spiritual circle very much that, oh, you like coffee? I said, yeah, I like coffee. I drink coffee. Oh my God, I thought, you are spiritual. As you coffee has something to do with spirit. You don't take it, that's fine. You don't have to hate it. Similarly, when one just casualty that I come across, because in the field, I give the talks on yoga and all those things. Then People think I'm a yogi, therefore they make the food highly sattvic. That means there's no spice at all in that food. And then I go there and ask for if there is any pickle with it. Wow, you eat pickle? As if that I'm doing some um, sin for the lifetime. Oh my God. Array, my nature is something that I eat like that. Don't hate anything like that. Don't have any hatred. That's why in Bhagavad Gita 12th chapter, Krishna says, Sarveshta Sarvabhuta. Let's not have any hatred. So be neutral about this. You like it, take it. Otherwise, just leave it alone. And that's what Patanjali also says that Udasina Bhava, Udasinatvat. Be like that. So when we look at that way, Stula Bhutu, gross that is there, the world has got so many things in the gross world. And out of all these things, that there are certain things which are useful for me, which are good for me. I take them. What is not good for me, I leave it alone. I walk across. Like I'm going through the shopping mall. There's so many shops that are there, and there are wonderful shops that are there. Like, for example, ice cream shops are there, just eatables are there. But I'm looking for a shoe, so I go for a shoe shop. Not it does not mean I don't like other things, but it is not like that. So therefore, pick up what is good for you, what is necessary for you, take it and then go ahead. That's all. So a very simple thing, Sthula Bhuku, and I says that collect, take it what is useful for you, what is that nourishing for you, what is not nourishing, leave it alone. Very simple idea. It's not nourishing for you. It might be nourishing for 100 others, but not for you. So therefore, that leave it alone. That is the idea. Simple thing, Sthula Bhuku. But it's not just only mind, mouth, but it says that everything else, what you hear can also be something. Select what is nourishing, and otherwise, what is not nourishing, let it go. Don't even bother to do. Not only these sensory organs fine, but even your activities like walking, moving, etc., using the hand. If it is good for you, then take it. Otherwise, don't unnecessarily go for that because like for example, when God has given us legs, He wanted us to walk. Let's walk. No, I have a vehicle. This is what Tolstoy's story says that the coolie comes, the porter comes, and then she says, "Why are you watching? Take see inside the car. Inside the car, the son is sitting there." Said, "Mama, is a boy sitting there, a grown-up boy." He said, "Why don't you lift him up? Why he has any problem with the legs? He cannot walk. He cannot something." No, no. All those things you can do it, but I have money. So it is such a thing that I have money, I can pay you so that we lift him up so that he doesn't have to walk. If you don't allow him to walk, then he loses the legs. So therefore, basically that it is nourishing for you to walk, nourishing for you to talk, nourishing for you to do these things. Not only these things, even the four senses, internal organs, mind, intellect, etc., use that. Earlier, I remember that we used to have such wonderful memory. So many things used to be memorized. In fact, in Indian culture that we used to memorize 20 mathematical tables. Apart from that, pi table and squares, this, that, so many things we used to do it. Today we have computers. We don't even remember our own phone number. Unfortunately, that's what is the situation. Use the intellect so that intellect grows. Use the memory so that memory is vibrant. So that it is nourishing for you. Not only these things, it is nourishing about economimshati mukha. What you see, what you hear, what you come across, everything used to be nourishing that you do it. This is what is gross world. Gross world because that it is something which others also can share with you, you can share with the others. But there is one small little hitch in that. And the hitch is that this Vedanta also says that what you see the world is not that anybody else also is the same thing. Like I see some red color and say red. You might also see that as a red, say, but what guarantee is there that the red color I see is the same red color that you see it? It's different. Because our colors are influenced by our emotions, our preferences, our desires. So many things are there. So when you go to the gross world, put all those things aside and purely approach that. Your approach to the world is without any prejudice, you approach the world. The real world that you come across, that you go for that. Then you assess whether it is right or not. Normally, what happens, we go by influence of the outside world. No, don't have to go by that. You have your own senses, your own intellect, everything is there. You go with that. So, default that you go to the world with that shraddha, with that faith, with that trust. Later on, you might change, but initially, that you go by that. So, therefore, this is what is the gross world. The second thing we have seen our own set of second experience in their dream world. In dream that you see, and dream world is as compact, as complete as the wakeful world. And there is a dreamer behind it. You are the dreamer. And then you see the dream world in the dream state. For a dreamer, dream is 100% real. For you, in the wakeful person, it may not be real. But for the dreamer, it is 100% real. Like the way that wakeful person, wakeful state is real, dream person, dream is real. All the influences of the dream are there on the dreamful person. That means there's something frightening, he'll be frightened. There's something he has to negotiate, he has to negotiate. Something is hard, it's really hard there. All those things are exactly the same. So therefore, that it is as real in the wakeful state, in the wakeful world is real for the wakeful state, that is real for the dream world. So therefore, many times in Vedanta, these two things are not separated off. They're the same thing. Experience is same. Not only that, they also influence your personality. Like for example, you see something which is frightening in the dream, and you can see that your outside world, your BP goes up, your sleep gets disturbed, you want to wake up, and you are frightened, and actually that you see sweating in December night that you are sweating because that it was a bad dream. So all these things do influence us. So what influences is real in that sense, because it influences us is real. But it is short-lived, yes, short-lived. But how does it matter whether it is short-lived or long-lived? Because it is part of the life, therefore that it becomes real. Many times that is a place that you live for a short period of time, but then move ahead. That memory of that short period that you live is also true for you. You cannot say that no, I lived short, therefore I don't exist there. It's not like that. So therefore, that time is not a factor to decide whether it is real or unreal. So therefore, that Satya is the real. The it is long-lived or short-lived is called Nitya Anitya. But when you take it Anitya, then actually even this world is also Anitya. Compared to the time span that we have, 60, 70, 80 years that we are here, or the food that we take, 6 hours that it get digested, it's all Anitya only. So only thing is that there is something which is Nitya in our own frame of mind, and something is Anitya in our frame of mind. In fact, I always say that we see the day and night, year, this, that, and all those things, whereas you see the insect in the night for the light that it comes, particularly on the rainy day it comes, and that insect, it comes in the evening and then it has nice, wonderful wings and all that, flies around the light for about a half an hour. Then the wings drop off, even the insect drops down, moves around for a little while, and then dies. That means its life is about 5, 6 hours, not more than that. And that 5, 6 hours, you say, poor fellow, he died in 5, 6 hours. But we don't have to say poor fellow in 5, 6 hours that he has done everything that what a life can do it. That it has flown, it was flying very everywhere and enjoyed the whole thing, light. And then afterwards it has procreated everything. Next generation leaves eggs and all that. And then goes away. Even if it is 5, 6 hours it stays, what man will do in 80 years? And that will do in 5, 6 hours. So who is efficient? Human being is efficient or that insect is efficient? And it multiplies so many that, but then next morning, again, none of those insects are there. Finish. It's gone. They never know what is called as day and night. They live only at that point. So therefore, that it's short and long is not important. Nitya, Nitya, how short, how long it is not important. But its effect is there on us. Dream effect is there on us. So therefore, dream is very important. Now, Western science has completely neglected the dream, whereas we have very elaborately discussed about the dream in various Upanishads. A very important aspect of the dream is that what brings about a dream? What is that which will bring the dream about? It's not that characters are important, but the emotion that's important or the bhavana that's important. Bhavana goes with the consciousness directly. Therefore, that bhavana, it is not intellectual that's more important, but it is the bhavana that's important. That itself shows the bhava prapancha is something much more closer to the consciousness than the intellectual prapancha. And that we can see that intellect and its products, they're all belonging to the world outside, matter. Bhavana belongs to you. And a very simple example to show that bhavana belongs to you and all the intellect, memory, etc., are about the world outside. A simple example for that is that your cell phone, your mobile phone. Mobile phone has much better memory than you have. Mobile phone does much faster processing than you can do it. So mobile phone, all these things features are there, which actually insults you. You can't even remember one phone number, but it has 10,000 phone or 10,000 phone numbers. And you cannot perceive, you cannot hear anything away from here, but it can, across the globe, it can hear. Somebody is talking from USA and you can hear. So in that way, mobile phone actually is much more superior than you are. Or in other words, you are a very inferior mobile phone. But then what is that which makes you important? Mobile phone does not have any bhavana, any feeling, any connection, whereas we have that. Brother and sister connection, husband and wife connection, teacher and student connection. Google Guru we say, but then Google Guru, much more wonderful is a real physical Guru who is there outside. So this is because that the connection is one of bhavana. And we can see this bhavana is the one which creates. And the example is that our dream. Our dream is a creation out of our bhavana. You have some hatred, you have some jealousy, or maybe you have some uh, desire to do something. All those things you have suppressed, them kept inside. In a subtle form, they are there, not in the manifest form, and is waiting for an opportunity to manifest. That's what is the dream. Dream is an expression of these bhavana that we have suppressed within us because many times bhavana can expressed in the world outside. The outside world has its limitations. Just like the way that you take it, what is nourishing for you, also your expressions also based on what is nourishing for you. Don't express something which is not nourishing for you. Like for example, I see somebody beautiful. I should not just go and say that you are looking so beautiful. The husband is next to her and then he will beat me all over. I should be careful about that. So I suppress many feelings like that. I hate somebody. I'm sitting in the counter, but then I have to smile. So I smile, whoever comes in front of me, but I would have, inside my heart, I was thinking, I just like murder this fellow. But then you can't say that because if you have expression of that, anything of that nature, you'll be thrown out of job. So for your sake that you give a smile and all. So that is what basically the feeling that is there, a hatred, you suppress inside. I'm just giving an example. So like that, how many of suppression that are there in our mind from morning to evening? Because of that, actually we are loaded. Our mind is loaded. If it is continuously like that, day after day being loaded, then you cannot survive long. They have to spend away. Dream is a wonderful state where you spend away all your suppressed emotions. Suppressed emotions about likes, dislikes, about hatred, these, that, all those things that you can give an expression, the fear, all these things are given expression, the dream. That's why they say that dream is a wonderful scavenger. Scavenger of what suppressed mind is there, all that it can take away, so that you get up in the morning fresh. And that's what last time also said. Dreams are very important. Dream world is very important so that you can think. But what is the difference between the wakeful state and dream state? Wakeful state seems to be more intense compared to the dream state. That's why intensity-wise dream is less. Therefore, that we recognize that as dream. As soon as we get up into the wakeful state, it was only in the dream. I failed the exam. Thank God that I didn't fail the exam in the reality, but in the dream, I failed the exam. It's like that. The very nice stories about that, saying that Squantazu was confused whether what he has seen is the dream or this world is the dream, and that's what is real. So in the dream, he became a butterfly, and then when he woke up, then he suddenly found out. He said, "Is Squantazu having the dream of a butterfly? Is the butterfly dreaming Quantas?" So which is right, which is true? Because that's also an experience that I have. But what final answer that this Upanishad uses? Neither this is real nor that is real, but you are real. This is a very important statement to say that you are moving from one to the other, and they two are totally watertight compartments, but you are somebody moving behind them. That gives us an idea that you are the third person behind it. Like the way between the wakeful and dream state that you also have the third experience of deep sleep. And that also is something, is it real? No. Even that's also another stage that you go through, but you're somebody behind all these things. And you can only become wakeful, you can only become dream, you can only get into deep sleep state, but you are there behind all these things. That means one comes and goes, second comes and goes, third comes and goes. Like that, you see that whole life is nothing but things are coming and going, but you are there behind. Yes, when you see childhood has come and gone, adolescence has come and gone, adulthood come and gone, old age has come and gone, but you are there behind it. And we say that, yes, oh, when I was a child, I had this experience. You know, I was so stupid at that time. Yes, every child is stupid at that time compared to today. So therefore, all these experiences are there on top of you. So you are somebody behind it. So logically, that it shows that you are removed from all these three states. But then let me go back to the dream state, which is important, as I said. The most important difference between the wakeful state and dream state is that dream state is less bright compared to the wakeful state. That's the reason why the dream state, though it is created by our emotions, but the amount of uh, tejas that is there is much less than the wakeful state. Why? It is because that you have a limited tejas and the external world is made out of the universal tejas. And that is what is called as Vaishvana. So therefore, this is much more brighter than yourself. That's what is our experience. But then, just like that, our emotions can create that dream. Not only that, you see that in the wakeful state also many times, the emotions create, or the bhavana, create a parallel world to you. I was giving the last time the example that in the drama, in stage drama, something is happening. You get so engrossed in that and all the emotion that is there. And that emotions will drive you. I'm showing that the part, the fellow who played the part of Rama just took the hand in a position of bow and arrow and pulls him string of the board, leaves the arrow. Actually, there is no bow, no arrow, no nothing in the hand. But the moment he leaves that with the music, with this and that, you feel as if the arrow is moving ahead. You almost follow the arrow. And then, as if arrow stuck on somebody, that fellow falls down. Rama throws the arrow, and then Maricha falls down. Oh, he fell down. It looks very real for us. It may be momentary, doesn't matter. But then it gave a reality. Your emotion, whatever that is created by the actor, by acting various things, the same thing that we have created inside, and that emotion creates a reality for that, whatever the image that is. The same thing a dog will see will never have any reaction to that. Because dog cannot create the whole picture inside the dog, whereas we create. In fact, these days you can see also that people have 3 cups and all that, and then they keep some coin or something like that, and then below 1 cup, and then move the cups back and forth, and then finally they keep the cups, identical cups, one behind the other, and find out where it is. And if you can really identify that, you will get the money. Otherwise, you lose the money. So that you could see them. Whereas the same thing, he will do the same kind of an experiment with a cat. The cat is watching, or a dog is watching. And then he moves all those things, moves up and down and all that. And then the cat immediately finds out where it is there. That means cat, you cannot confuse it. It's real. Sees that. Because it cannot create. Whereas human being can create. They can create all those things. It's an advantage, disadvantage also. Advantage because that you can create a nice, wonderful dream. Dreaming is very important. In fact, the moment that your desire is so strong, the imagination is so strong, you can even create the dream in the day-to-day days, in the daytime also. That's why we call it the daydreaming. A simple idea that is thrown by the advertisement saying that you do this, you do that, you will get 1 crore of rupees. Finish. Tum bhi bana crorepati. Immediately you imagine that you have become crorepati. You are in the first stage, first level. But imagination will be there. You create that. It's natural for us to create. Only thing is that that imagination that we create, we should not get lost into that, because basically this is what is people go into what is called as hallucinations, etc., or hypnosis and all that. It's because that you go into this world. That means you lose your freedom. But another way of going into these things is also possible. And that's what your emotions can be strong of something which is very pious, very good, very nice, values that are there, and you create that kind of a scenario, the picture that is there. Like, for example, you are seeing this Ramayana serial, and the characters who made the picture they're there. Such an extraordinary, wonderful characters that they created. They almost created godlike picture of themselves. And during those days, in fact, later on the interview, that fellow who played the Rama's role, Arun Govil, he said that the moment I go out of the house and go out of my district and then go to the street, people would come and touch my feet because they see Rama in me. When they touch my feet, I was really taken aback, and I felt very guilty because basically he was actually a smoker. But after playing the role of Rama and couple of 3, 4 serials that has happened, afterwards he became so popular as Rama. And I said, how can I smoke when I become a Rama? He said, I gave it up right away. I could not control it. Because that's what people feel it. You can create a drama in such a way that you can create a strong positive sense in that. Similarly, Mahabharata serial, it created all the characters as if Mahabharata characters like that. Particularly the fellow who played the Arjuna's role is actually a Muslim. And then he had the name, some Batiullah Khan or something like that. And then he was playing the role of Arjuna. After a while, he said that all the characters of Arjuna were so imbibed in me. I could not tell my name, whatever Muslim name. So he changed his name to Arjun. Actually, you can see that Arjun. He said that I couldn't be anything but Arjun. Character became. Same way when that was the screening was going on in Punjab, all these people used to go in the sets and all that, and after that they would come out to a dhaba, have some food together, have fun. So they used to come to dhaba. When they come to dhaba, then some people there recognized the person who played the role of Duryodhana, Puneet Isar. And then the moment that the village people realized that he is the Duryodhana, then they went round and collected some 40, 50 people with sticks and all that to beat this Duryodhana out. Actually, they had to rush to the police station, take the protection of police. That means said very happy about that. He himself said very happy about that because you could create the people feeling that way. So all these arts are things like that to create that feeling within you. The literature, art, and all, so that it becomes a reality. And this is what is the basis for the bhakti yoga. You are intensely singing the song, intensely living that song, and the image of Rama, Sita, Krishna, Radha, etc., etc. Slowly, what happens, they become reality in front of you. Others might not see it, but you start seeing it. In the beginning, what happens is that whatever that you are experiencing is still less intense than the world outside. Then what happens? But then you start feeling that. The moment you start feeling that, then your activity of puja, your activity of bhajan, activity become almost like reality. And you get involved in that more emotionally, fully. Once you get emotionally into that, then slowly what happens is that your own bhavana can create that image much more stronger in such a way that they become reality for you. You really see Rama, you really see Krishna. And when can it happen is when your interest in the world outside becomes nominal and your interest in all these things becomes super nominal, extraordinary. That's what Krishna was there 5,000 years ago. But 1,000 years back, 600 years back, Meera could see Krishna in front of him. For him, for her, Krishna is a living being. One could see that, the living. And that expression, that feeling, everything is connected with that. I know a friend of mine who is in USA. He hears, have actually seen him. He hears Bhagavad Gita sung by Ghantasala, Telugu singer, a very beautiful singer. And he hears Bhagavad Gita morning and evening, and he has made a beautiful studio in his house. That acoustically excellent, perfect. And then he plays the Bhagavad Gita by Ghantasala and sits there listening to it for about half an hour before he goes to the work. Evening, when he comes back, he sits there to listen to it. He and his wife and children, they all listen to it. When I went to their house in Atlanta, he asked, "Come, I'll show you that." And he made me to sit down to listen to that. And he says, and he has blinds for the eyes also. So you can put the blinds and sit and listen to it. And he says that, "Are you not in Kurukshetra? I'm not in the warfield." And then Krishna is singing and Arjuna is listening to it. Literally that you get that feeling. And then he was getting that feeling. And then so real, so true for him, he said, "Raghuramji, you have heard, you have read so many things, you know so many things. Can you tell me one thing I'll satisfy you?" What is that? In the battlefield, when Krishna sang Bhagavad Gita, he sang it like Ghantasala sings. No other singing is, he appreciates it, Ghantasala singing. I said, yes, it's truly the way that Krishna sang is by Ghantasala. What do I lose out of it? But look at the feeling that you have. So therefore, for a child, mother is a feeling. For a mother, child is a feeling. For a teacher, student is a feeling. And a student, teacher is a feeling. When we are doing this, then you elevate the whole relationship. All the Puranic relationships are elevated relationships. In such a way, a single act can elevate you to that level where you can feel that. And this is what is the one which which is the basis behind the whole of Bhakti Yoga. So dream world is something which can create an extraordinary, wonderful saint out of you. If you really understand this dream, make use of this dream. And nobody is there who doesn't get dream. You all have dreams. And people do not have any particular association with emotion. They're always good, nice. So such a person, their dream is not a particular kind of a dream. They don't have to create images, but energy is there. The good energy is there. Divine energy is there. That flows. That's what Vivekananda's life. He said that when he was a boy, Naren, he was surprised when people expressed that they have the dreams. He said, dreams? I don't anything. But then what do you see? I only see a sheet of light. That means energy was there. And that is it. So pure was his mind. Did not have any taint of anything. That's why whatever that he takes up a activity, that energy was so pure behind that activity, 100% it will work on that. Like for example, he went to the library in Germany, in Heidelberg, and then there he took out the encyclopedia, turned the pages. And the lady in the library, she was laughed. She said, what is the point in just turning the pages of the encyclopedia? You should do read something. And Swami said, excuse me, madam, I've read about 140 pages from here, or 150 pages here. I just did not turn it. Array, in half an hour, you turned about 150. Yeah, you can open any page and ask any question, I will answer you. How did you know that? That means to say, picture perfect purity was there in his mind. He saw that and then already imprinted in him. He not only gave what is that, which page it is, but he also gave what is the alternative of it, ideal discussion of it, he gave it. So this is what the purity Vivekananda had. So therefore, that this whole Bhakti Yoga, the whole imagination, if not even Bhakti Yoga, even in the world outside, the today's growth and everything has based on because we have an ability to dream. Dream is not negative. Dream is something which is very positive. That's why he says, Pravivikta Bhuku. Vivikta is very clear outside. Vyakta is what is manifest. Vivikta is that clearly manifest. And what is behind the manifest is Pravivikta. This is what is the Sukshma world. The Sukshma world is extraordinary. Sukshma world is clear for it. And that's what basically is Pravivikta Bhuku. And you get it. The most important aspect of character of Pravivikta Bhuku compared to the Sthula Bhuku is that Sthula world you can share with the others. Dream world, it's absolutely your personal. Just because that it is not shared with the other does not mean it is not real. It's real for you. That may be real for many others, but this is something which is real for us. And that is very important. See that your dreams can become something which is nourishing for you. What is that which makes that dream nourishing? Whatever the emotions, whatever the bhavana that you keep in your mind, keep them in positive way. Whatever negative, just leave it alone. I hate somebody. Don't have to do anything with that. You like somebody. You like something nice, wonderful color. You nice a nice, wonderful event. Keep those things. So that what happens is your memory is filled with something which is positive, brings about positive ideas in front of you. So we can do it in the dream world, something which is nourishing for us. Like the way wakeful state is nourishing, dream state is also equally nourishing. Therefore, in the Shastra, they don't make difference between the wakeful state and the dream state. They are two identical. And without the dream, one cannot survive. That's what last time I was telling the experiment that they have done. Whenever somebody has a dream, then switch it off, wake him up, and then give some water, to give some milk to drink, and then make him to go to dream again, make him to go to the life again. So dream was eliminated, and that person soon became mad. Because the dream is something which nourishes, you need to have that. But then apart from these two things, there is a third state which is deep sleep state. Yatra sukto nakanchana kamam sam. So Jagarita sthana, Bahish prajna. Sapta sthana, That's what is the fourth mantra which says Anta Prajnaha Saptangaha Ekonavimshati Mukaha Pravivikta Bhuku Taijasaha Dvitiya Pada. This is the Dvitiya Pada. That means I is the Pradama Pada. Who is the Dvitiya Pada? And then the next stage is where neither the wakeful state is there nor the dream state is there. Yatra supto nakanchana kamam kamayate nakanchana swapnam pashyati. This is sushupta is a state that is what is yatra suptaha kamam kamayate. That means to say the world outside, material world, that is it. Nakanchana kamam kamayate. Whatever kind of a thing that is there about the material world does not enter there. Absolutely, completely sealed off. Nakanchana swapnam pashyati. Even swapna world is not there. Tashuppta. The most important thing about the sushupta sthana is that what follows is that sushupta sthana is something like eki bhutaha. It is not that there is ekonavimshati mukha. All those things are not there. There's only one experience that is there, eki bhutaha. And prajnana ghanaha, there it is bahish prajna and anta prajna. Here it is prajnana ghana. So a very important idea about prajnana ghana is that it has solidified your awareness, consciousness. Solidified means that whatever that is there is no change that takes place in that. It is just there like that, but it is put in the store. It is not interfering with you. You are not in touch with that. Prajnana ghana. And then, now what is that experience that you have? Experiences Ananda Maya. See, so Eva Anandamaya, Ananda Bhuku, Cheto Mukha, Prajna, Tritiya Padaha. So this is what is Prajna. That means awareness is there. That means to say the awareness that you are experiencing, you become the happiness that is there. Anandamaya. Now, other states, what happens is that your sensory organ, the object outside, that is what basically the experience that you have. Here, the experience is that there is no sensory organ involved. It's only the ananda you become. That's why ananda maya, ananda bhuku. That means you are taking ananda. We need basically, it's also for your nourishment, deep sleep state. Very important. And unfortunately, what happens is deep sleep state is not in our hands. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. We can't do anything. That's why Annamacharya makes one kriti where he says that one might have a nice, wonderful bed, golden bed with all the covers and everything. But the other person, a beggar who is sleeping on the sand dune, sleep is there for him, not for the person who has a bed. He gives bed for somebody, sleep to somebody else. So that's how basically we don't have that what the others have. Many times I used to see that. I used to work in the project area, you know, day work, concrete work, this work, that work, steel work going on, and we all used to be there, friends of us. Night 2, 3 o'clock when we finish the work, and then we are returning in our jeep. I see at that time, by the time, because all the other works are stopped, the workers, they're lying down on the sand dune outside, under the sky, happily sleeping. They don't have a bed, they don't have anything like that, but then on that sand heaps that we put, nicely they'll level it, sleep there so wonderfully. We are jealous of that. They have sleep, we don't have that sleep. So this is what basically what happens is that the sleep is that state where you're completely cut off from everything that is there in the wakeful state. Everything in the dream state. You don't have any dream, you don't have any wakeful state. You enter into that deep sleep state. That's why Upanishad extols this particular state, saying that the father is no more a father. Mother is no more a mother. Pita, pita bhavati. Steno, asteno bhavati. Bronaha, abronaha bhavati. But the second statement is very important. Ananvagatam punyena, ananvagatam papena. You are not being followed by, you are not being in control of punyena. That the good activities, good ideas, good thoughts that you want to do, not there. Ananvagatam papena. Even the bad thoughts, bad ideas, nothing is there. That means to say, whether is a murderer having murder instincts, the moment he goes to sleep, he is no more a murderer. Free from that. That's why in the ancient Indian culture, don't kill anybody in the sleep state because in the sleep he is Brahman himself. Wake him up. When you wake him up, then the evil comes up. After the evil comes up, then you kill that evil. He should know that the evil is bad, evil is punished, not him. In fact, somebody is sleeping and then you kill him, like Brahmahatya it is called. Even if he's a bad guy. But in the sleep state, you kill him, it is Brahmahatya. That's what in Mahabharata, all these Pancha Pandavas, Upa Pandavas were killed while sleeping by Ashwatthama. That's why he was cursed. Because he is Brahmahatya, supposed to be of that. So all these things are not just like said, they said it, but they are properly with proper idea that they are said. So that's why the deep sleep state is a state where you are neither good nor bad, you are one with the Brahman, beyond both the pairs of opposite. Only time when we go beyond the pairs of opposite is when we go to sleep state. And that pairs of opposite not being there, become neutral, is there. Everybody is there. Whether you are rich or poor, whether you are young or old, whether you are highly intellectual or no intellectual, the sleep is the same. So therefore, you touch that state. And that state is also nourishing. So deep sleep state is also, dreamless sleep state is also nourishing. Now, all these three states are nourishing for you because you are somebody or you, all these three states are superimposed. All these three states are superimposed. So therefore, there is a premises to say that behind all these three states, I am there. That fourth me is there, and that me as the fourth state is somebody who cannot be described because the moment that you describe, he either belongs to wakeful or belongs to dream or deep sleep state. Therefore, it cannot be described. Only way that that fourth state, which is supposed to be the Brahman, or you, your nature, can be described only in the form of neti neti. So there, that is what basically the next sutra which says that Upanishad mantra, which says that in fact, while giving this idea, it says Esha Sarveshwara, Esha Sarvajnaha, Esha Antaryamihi, Esha Yonihi Sarvasya Prabhapyahi Bhutana. This is about the Sushupti Sthana, the deep sleep state he gives. That means to say everything comes from this. Esha Yonihi. It's like the way the womb. And why he calls it as womb is basically the womb gives rise to a birth of a child with all the vasanas and samskaras that are there. So they are there in the form of a seedal form and then they manifest. That's the reason why he says Esha Antaryamhi. It has Esha Sarvajnaha. Whatever that creation comes from that silent state, that unmanifest level that is there deep inside. One is called as Stula and the other is called as Sukshma. And this state is supposed to be Karna. Karna is that from that the creation takes place, and the creation takes place based on the impression that is there in the form of seed. And the seed also, the impressions are there in such a way that you don't see the impression. Any amount of microscope that you use it to see what is there inside here, the mango seed. You can't find out whether that mango seed that it is there, Alfonso mango, or it is this way or that way, one way or the other. It doesn't have any of those things. So basically, that third state is itself is something which has all the things which are in the hidden form, but at the same time, it can help us to manifest when it comes to the manifestation level. And from that, your dream comes about. Dream is also one of the manifestations, subtle manifestation. And then from there, it comes to the gross manifestation level. When you see the child in the mother's womb, small little speck, a small little cell that is there. But look at the way that as the child grows, as itself becomes bigger and bigger, it has all the impressions. Legs are there, hands are there, eyes are there, ears are there. Slowly, one after the other, they keep coming up. Where are they? Where are they? They are there in that form, the seedal form. All those things are hidden in the seed, and from there it manifests. So the sleep state is like that seedal form from which everything manifests. So that is why basically it is supposed to be everything it is there. Sarvajnaha, Sarveshwaraha. And that, what a beautiful expression that he gives. For everything that comes forward, that comes forth, it is that unmanifest level seedal form that is there. And that's what is basically the idea. Karna, the position. Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvajnaha, Esha Antaryami. That means to say, is he can move within, inside itself, it can create the whole thing. That means to say, you see how beautiful it is that slowly the legs develop. And the cells which belong to the legs will go to the legs, strengthen the legs. Similarly, the cells will just come out from that particular monod that is there. Slowly, that hands come out. And the face is there. In the beginning in the face, there is nothing. But then slowly, an opening is created, mouth has happened, nose has happened. So all these things come from within. Like the way that one same seed that you put in the soil, put an ambience, given an ambience on that. This seed as it grows, the life that is there inside, the consciousness that is there inside, slowly brings about the same cell out of which something becomes like a bark, something becomes like a branches, something comes out like leaves, something comes out like a flower. It's all coming from there. So this aspect, which is unmanifest form, it's there in our deep sleep state from which the manifestation comes. So that's why he says, this is what is Esha Sarveshwaraha, Esha Sarvajnaha, Eshantaryami, Esha Yonihi, Sarvasya Prabhavapyehu Bhutanam. So that's what is basically the state that we have. So all these three states that we have, from which is connected with our birth, our creation. Now, as I said, all these three states are for your nourishment. So let us not mistake that nourishment is only physical body. Nourishment is only for the mind. Nourishment is only for this. Yes, that's also there. But what is much more deeper idea about nourishment? Behind all these three things are that you are there. So that's what is the fourth state. And that's why Omkara is Chatushpada. Four padas are there. That fourth pada is that what we are. We are neither wakeful, nor dream, nor deep sleep state. If we are one, other will not be there as our experience. If the dream is there, then you won't have had the deep sleep state experience. They are coming and going, but the only thing is you are behind it. But unfortunately, we don't know that. We have no knowledge of it. So nourishment is essentially which takes you towards yourself. It's not that strengthening the physical body, strengthening the mind, having a lot of knowledge and opening. That's not the idea. Anything that you give is to see that helps you to go towards yourself, makes you identify yourself with the self, not with the world outside. Outside world is wonderful, but that healthy. Important only to see that it can put you in touch with yourself. Dream is also wonderful. You create a thing, but it should put you in touch with yourself. That's very important. Whatever takes you towards you, that is what is nourishing. Whatever takes you away from you, is not nourishing. Once we understand that, then the fourth state that we can try to understand, you can see that Upanishad has given this fourth state. It's not for the sake of logic to prove Advaita, Advaita. Let's not worry about it. But it's just how I can make use of these states of experience to find out myself, who am I? That's what we get into that state. We'll try to work on that. So I'll stop it here. We'll continue the discussion on the fourth day. Before that, there are so many things which are given in the Karika. I'll see some of the useful things in the Karika, then we go to the fourth stage. Stop it here. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.